everybody, and welcome back to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your lovely, beautiful, disgusting, horrific video game ideas and turn them into the next AAA video game titles. I'm one of your hosts, Blake Alexander Raya.
Whoa, I've never heard you roll the R on that one before.
I know. You would look at me and you're like, that's a white guy. And you're right. But you should see my dad. My dad is very...
Your dad makes it not weird that you rolled the R like that.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever...
Wait. Stop. Let me get in on this. How's it going, everybody? I'm Austin Jacob Hart, your other host.
You didn't roll your R, buddy.
Roll what R?
Heart.
Oh,
wow.
Harder.
I tried going into heart, and I emphasized the H, and it just sounded like I was about to vomit. Heart.
Yeah, I don't like the full name has a different vibe. I'm not into it.
I realized something today before you and I called that I haven't realized before. Okay. I have you in my phone contacts twice. One as AJ producer, which is, I think, when you and I first met and you told me you wanted to be a producer.
Yeah, I was on the producer track at our college during that time.
And then I have you in my phone contacts again as AJ, the anime wizard.
Huh.
And I bring
this.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And you know what this helped me realize is like, it's either one of two things. And hopefully it's the latter. The former is, I'm a forgetful fuck, and I just forgot that I had you in, didn't have you in my phone, and just added you twice. Or you and I are so fucking tight and such good friends, and I love you so fucking much, I'm like, I'm going to put this guy in my phone twice. I'm going to put this dude's... It's the same phone number, so I don't know why it didn't come up when I typed it in the second time.
Might I propose to you this?
Yeah,
is there another AJ Hart that you've met that is the anime wizard and they're a separate person?
You know, I don't think I've ever met another AJ. It's like maybe it's like, you know, like in Scott Pilgrim where there's like negative Scott. Maybe there's like a negative AJ running around. AJ, what if you're the negative AJ? Because you got a little bit of bastard energy. I don't know. The negative energy is it confirm?
I'm the antithesis of the anime wizard.
Yeah, because you famously hate anime, actually.
I hate anime. Do we have anything video gamey to talk about today? Like, there's got to be video game news that we could touch on, right?
I may or may not have slacked off work this entire week just to play Hot Wheels Unleashed, the new hit. I mean, like, we talked about last episode. I launched a new channel, Love, Death, and Dice, and this is sort of true. I had my brother's bachelor party last weekend. That's why we took the week off. We were hanging out in Vegas doing some bachelor party stuff. And then I told myself, the moment I get back from this bachelor party, I'm just gonna fucking get into work mode. I'm gonna churn out another Love, Death, and Dice. And then I booted up Hot Wheels Unleashed, and I've played it because I'm like, it's one of those. It was like that bachelor party, and you and I talked about this. Sometimes you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, you need a break after you take a good break. That's just the reality of it.
And that's such a weird thing that people need that, but I felt it. I was like, wow, this bachelor party took a lot out of me because I planned everything. I planned all of our meals. I planned all of our shows. Like, I did so much work during this bachelor party that when I got home, I'm like, I don't feel like doing jack shit, but trying to be the Drift King. I want to be the next Drift King, baby. And then I played so much Hot Wheels.
Are you the Drift King yet? Or have you jumped into competitive Hot Wheels racing yet?
No, I haven't, but I'm so fucking excited for when I can jump into the servers. Are the servers even available yet? I don't know. I think
you would know more than me, bud.
I think Hot Wheels Unleashed is like Trials HD in the sense that you can create your own courses that other people can play, but I don't know if you can. No, that'd be stupid. I feel they have to have like open races where people can just race each other. That would just be kind of defeat the point. It's like if you released Mario Kart, but there was no online play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely look into that. I'll check in with you again next week to double check whether or not you're the newest Hot Wheels racer pro player or not.
Well, do you have any gaming news? Like, what? I feel like I've done so much of our talking because I'm a little bit high on 2 energy drinks that I shot right before us recording this because we got a lot of work tonight. You and
We
I
got so much to do. It's late in the afternoon. We're going to have to be up doing work, plucking away on the old podcast machine.
Yeah. What are you playing?
I've been playing Beast Breaker on the Switch lately. It was a game that dropped. I saw somebody retweeting it. And then I was like, that seems really neat. And then I picked it up. It has no reviews. In fact, I saw one video from the guy that created it being like, hey, no one's reviewed my video game. Yeah, they made the mistake of dropping a video game in like late September, which is just video game season. So reviewers just never got around to it. But don't worry, AJ Hart is here to let you all know this game absolutely fucks. It is a
what is it?
What is the name for these games? A Peggle Blaster or like a marble blaster?
I think it's its own. It's like a matching shooter. So you think like Bubble
It's
Bobble,
not a matching shooter.
Zuma.
It is more like Breakout. But instead of you having like a little paddle on the bottom of the map, you have a little mouse that you'll throw at things. On the map, you'll bounce around against a giant enemy. Wherever you stop your turn, if it's red, this giant beast will attack you for being on that space. So it's sort of like a turn-based Breakout game. It's so really fun. It's really cool. I've been having a grand time with it. It's got these little like the main character is this little mouse that just has really fun little sprite work whenever he's talking to people. There's this incredible bird that is I forget the bird's name, but he's just a lot to look at, and I love him very much.
Dude, okay. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show before, but like that was the shit I played so much as a kid. Like the moment I got like my first little iPod.
You played what shit?
I played Peggle. Like those Breakout clone games were my jam because there was just something. It reached into that same thing of like a fidget item. It's just nice and satisfying to see a cluttered screen get cleared up over time. There's just something really, and I think even then it's like, I guess would Tetris kind of fall into the same thing where it's like you have this big tower, but the moment you get a solid line, it clears it, and then it's just like that hits that little hit of dopamine.
It's a satisfying way to see the game progress.
I'm cleaning up a mess. That game taught me to hate messes, AJ. That's why my room is so clean. It's not clean. It's covered in dust. It's covered in dust and cat.
I just think that this Beast Breaker game, it hits me in the same way that old Flash games did on Newgrounds, where like you're picking up a game, it has a level of difficulty there, and it's going to express the rules in a really simple way. And the gameplay loop itself is incredibly simple, but there's enough toys that you want to pick up a new toy and learn the new rules with it. For example, you start off with a sword and shield, and the sword and shield weapon will generally have some sort of like block ticker. So if you use a shield attack, you'll start building up a ticker for block points. These blocks can then be used to protect yourself when the beast attacks you if you're in the red zone. Or you'll have moves that say use block. And so if you had like 18 blocks, you could use those for an attack instead. And so the sword and shield has a fun little push and pull with that. You could also use a bow and arrow instead. And if you select the bow and arrow, you are not throwing your mouse at the items. You instead throw your mouse one time to reposition, and then you are given an ammo count. And you can use the ammo to shoot down a little bit more like a blaster game, and you would just choose what spots on the giant monster you want to shoot at.
Okay. I like this, and it's fun. But we're not a game news podcast, AJ.
We're not a game news podcast. I'm sorry. I've started plugging another video game. No.
I get it. You're passionate. I have plenty of games to recommend. But everybody play Alan Wake Remastered. It's a gem of a game. It's my favorite game. But enough of good games that are already made. You and I need to get together and make some shitty games. And I got a good game.
That is what we do here.
Yeah. So this is also, it's the first episode of Spooky Month. So we're gonna make some spooky games this episode.
You promise they're gonna be spooky?
I can't guarantee that everyone will be spooky, especially this one. I don't know how we're gonna make it spooky, but we'll find out. This one comes to us on Twitter from Gazer at JustGazer. Spooky dancing game, a game about dancing to scare. DDR, AJ, but it's also Monsters Inc. style scare game. So you and I, we each get presented with a door. And then that door will be some song that we have to dance to. And depending on how well we dance, dictates how well we scare. So you don't like that opening scene from Monsters, Inc. where it's like, it's really scary at the beginning and then the guy steps on something and he fucks it up real bad? Those that haven't seen Monsters, Inc., watch it. It's a gem of a movie. Love that movie. Can't speak for the TV series. But Actually, Monsters University is really good too. I'm gonna go off on it. I'm about to. I don't want to go off on it.
You're ripping. I don't
so
actually enjoy Monsters University, but we don't need to go into that.
Wait, no. Okay, whatever. Okay,
feels like a cash grab. It is. Here's the thing: Monsters University is like so painfully, blatantly a cash grab, and like it is so
I disagree.
So much of a cash grab
disagree.
There's a reason why like no one talks about it. I think you're the first person I've talked to in 8 years since that movie dropped that has ever said Monsters University out loud.
That movie, I would actually argue, is better than the original. I would totally argue that.
You're gonna have fun on that hill, my friend.
So I don't want to go on a big tangent with it, but the thing that I love so much about Monsters University is that the theme of you don't have to be the greatest at something to consider yourself special. Like the idea that Mike Wazowski wanted to be the scariest fucking monster, but understood that his limitations in that doesn't mean he can't be happy doing other things. Like so many people have these big dreams, these gigantic dreams that may or may not be achievable. But you have to understand that your life is going to go on a set path, and it's going to roll out into things that you couldn't have planned for, and you can still be happy regardless of even if you didn't achieve those fucking gigantic things. Like your life doesn't lose meaning if you don't achieve like the unattainable dream, you know? And I think that was a message
that's fair. That is a good message from that movie.
That message was so fucking powerful to me. And I was like, I walked out of that movie crying. I didn't walk out of the first movie crying. Like I did, because it was just like, it hit me like right at, because I was going to college at the time, and it was just like, you know, am I going to achieve my dreams? Am I going to be somebody? Am I going to make people laugh? It's a big shock. Here I am. Thank you, everybody, for checking in with us every week.
You helped this little Mike Wazowski get here.
I'm a Mike Wazowski.
Tell me about Dance Dance Revolution Monsters Inc.
So here's the story of our game. So I don't know how much of Monsters Inc. do you remember? Because like the whole idea was that they were factory.
So we got a big blue guy and we got a little green guy. And the big blue guy's like, "Blah, I'm the greatest scarer ever." And the little green guy's like, "How's it going? I have a cool Medusa girlfriend. What's up? I'm Mike Wazowski."
That was characters, but what about? Do you know the plot, the world building?
Yeah, so they adopt a little daughter that shouldn't be there because she's poisonous, and then what's that? She's not actually poisonous. The monsters scare people for energy. It's kind of like a Fox News situation. And so the children stop laughing. I'm trying to continue with the plot synopsis.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
So the child shows up after being adopted by Michael Wazowski. Is it Michael or what do you think the long version is? Is it Michigan Wazowski? And so it's Mike for short?
Who the fuck would name their kid Michigan?
Monsters, dog. They're monster people. Who would name their child Sullivan? Yeah, it's bad. They live in hell.
They don't live in hell. They just live in like the Monster Metropolis.
Sullivan and Michigan adopt a daughter together, and Mike Wazowski doesn't want his cool snake girlfriend to know. And so they have to hide the kid, and then the second best scarer shows up, and he's like, "I'm going to eat your kid, I think, for power to make her super scared." I really don't remember what the lizard man wanted in that movie, but I know that it wasn't good. I presume he wanted to hurt and kill the child.
So basically,
no, don't correct me.
No. I want to build on what you're saying. So yes, he was gonna eat the kid, and they were gonna get much more scare energy by eating the kid. Basically,
yeah. It turns out you can just eat something for power.
At the end of that movie, though, they found out that they can make kids laugh, and that
makes
would give them even more energy
because we love laughing.
So this is like late stage Monster Metropolis, where they have outlived their means. Like getting kids to laugh. Guess what? They're back to square one.
Hey, was there something to be said about the fact that the monster, the bad guy in Monsters Inc. I almost called him the monster in Monsters Inc. That wouldn't have been helpful.
The big bad, yeah.
The bad monster in Monsters Inc. Did he know that laughter was more powerful? Like, was he purposefully creating an energy shortage?
No, they weren't trying. They weren't purposely creating an energy shortage. They were
Okay, because that would have been pretty ahead of its time if it was about like a corporation that was involved in power distribution, doing everything that it could to not have more effective power solutions to the world.
No,
Not to
it
say that
wasn't
there's
like-
any sort
it
of
wasn't-
parallel. I'm looking at you, the gasoline industry.
No, it wasn't like that. He was. They were under the idea that only screams was the only way to get power. They didn't know that laughter could give power. But we keep fucking diverging here. It's a pointless thing. Who gives a shit about the plot of the movie? This is a thing where like
That was someone's art. Fuck you. Somebody woke up and Monsters Inc. was their entire dream. You can't write it off like that.
Okay,
I decided I'm very much
it's
a
a fucking-
Monsters Inc.'s first defender.
It's a fucking magical. It's a magical movie, but you know, if people listening to this podcast want to see the synopsis for fucking Monsters Inc., they can go to IMDb. They don't need to listen to chuckle fucks just debate what the synopsis is. Who gives a shit? So what I'm saying is our game is this is. They found out that they need something stronger than laughter. And what's stronger than laughter? Fucking high energy. I'm talking people doing sick jumps, sick.
How is that different than...
Okay, hey, laughter's different than adrenaline, baby boy. There's fear, which is like the lowest of the energy. And then there's laughter, which is mid-energy. And then the final thing is some sick fucking adrenaline. So this is a game.
Stunts.
Dancing, dude. Remember, because this is like you gotta like dance and scare. So it's gotta be like. I'm wondering if you could do some sort of like I know nothing.
So
about
you want to do a
dancing, but I'm
Dance
gonna
Dance
talk.
Revolution game where we try to get our players to get some adrenaline rushing.
But I want to go deeper than that. I know nothing about dancing, but I'm going to talk like I know about dancing.
That is what we do here.
For 3 minutes. Or the thing that I know about dancing is like they pulled off something where they could have been hurt. Like the person did the spin on their head. Like that's so hard to do because you could fucking just slip on your head and bam, you land on your neck and you get fucking hurt. So
Or worse, you could stay on your neck for too long and then you'll stand up and your head will be pushed down and it'll look like you got hit with a big hammer.
Like there's some fucking like rubber hose cartoon from the 1940s.
They don't warn you about the head spin on that, but you can actually like it's kind of like just like screwing your head in too far.
So what if you did a DDR? Let me paint you a picture. This is going to be an arcade cabinet. Say you walk into Neon Arcade off of Reseda. I don't think they're still around. But you
I love
walk
this
in
local
and you
LA
see-
area call out. Yeah, hit me up.
And then you walk in, and in the back, you see people just doing the most dangerous dances they can on these DDR pads. But these aren't like regular DDR pads where it's just like the 5 buttons on the floor. There's stuff on the ceiling. There's stuff on their on the side panels of the dance machine. They got to do fucking flips. You ever see like the people in like Step Up or Step Up 2 where they like do the sweet little like
I've
they
actually
run to
only
a wall?
seen Step Up 3, please.
Okay, I'm sure they did it in that one where they run up to a wall and they kick off the wall and do a backflip and then they land into like a 3-point like hero land and then they throw their head up and like all their sweaty hair comes up. You got to do shit like that. But where the scares come in is you have to do these tricks. It's not scary for you. It's the audience getting scared that you're going to hurt yourself. So it's not like you're scaring them out of fear.
What? No,
but you're
let's make
scaring
it
them
scary
out of-
for the audience, for the one doing it too. What if you were going to go for one of those cool, sick Step Up 2 backflips off of the wall, but right before you went for it, the wall just kind of like shook a little bit, just like ooh, gonna get you.
Oh my god! So like it's a fucking the area you're dancing on becomes
It's gonna
more
move
hazardous?
from underneath you. Yeah, it's like not enough to seriously risk anyone's life, but just enough that they go, oh wait, hold on, like just enough to trip them up.
AJ, the worse you do, the more shaky the platform gets. So it's like if you like stick with me.
So if you want
I
to
would
get
play
a
the
big
shit
boost,
out of that.
if you want to get the big boost of the cool backflip points, but you're like way far behind, you got to be brave on that backflip. You really got to commit for it.
Yeah, you got to fucking move. And like so like I like that because that means like you and I could be going head to head in this game, right? And you are a way better dancer
Because we're
than
both
me.
excellent dancers and we of course both know how to do a backflip.
Bro, I wear steel-toe boots. These boots were not made for anything other than sitting at a computer and editing. So say you're killing it. You're doing a fucking. Don't laugh. That was a dumb joke. Stupid.
No, but
so,
it's like, it's funny because it's true. Like, we're sitting here having a good time, like podcasting, right? Having a good old goof 'em up time. You are wearing shoes that you could wear on a construction site for no fucking reason, and I love that.
I like them. I like Doc Martens. They fit my foot nice, but they also got protection.
Steel toe ones.
I don't know. That's just what I bought. Like when I first started buying Doc Martens. I mean, they made more sense when I was like on set more. Because like. The amount of times my foot
because then
has
you
been
could like
saved
pretend that you had something super dangerous near
like
you that
when I'm
would crush
doing
your feet.
I mean, no, it was not pretending. Like, have you ever had a C-stand drop on your toe, bud? It sucks.
It hurts.
I've had it.
It
hurts.
does hurt.
And that's why you need steel toes. But like, I'll admit, do I need steel toes when I'm sitting here fucking playing Hot Wheels Unleashed, chilling out on my computer while I'm rendering shit? No, I don't. I just wear them because they're comfortable, I guess.
You never know. And I do respect that. You are always prepared.
It's always go time. You never know when a construction's going to happen. Dude, actually, you know what? Fuck it. There's construction going on in my living room right now. They're laying down tile. I don't want to walk out. I don't want to walk there and get my morning coffee and have my toes stubbed. That's not how I want to start a day, AJ. It's always go time in the Rhea household.
All right, I'm going to put a pin in this one. This one comes from Retus at Retastronaut. At Retastronaut, game where you play as a hero sent on a quest with your sidekick. You die in an impossible boss fight, leaving your sidekick to finish the quest while you, as a ghost, perform tasks to help them.
I read that one and my immediate thought was, can the main character see you? Or are you like their guardian angel, but they can't see you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's more interesting here?
I think I want to go they can't see you route because you have to, okay, let's paint what a level looks like. And you know what this stands out to me is like this adventurer is like, it's a top-down thing and they're on a set path. They're going to walk forward. There's two enemies there. And once they beat that enemy, they're going to walk over a pad that is a trap, but they don't know it. You as the ghost need to go disarm that trap while they're fighting the two enemies. So you need to do preemptive stuff. But you won't know their path until you watch them go through it.
Yeah, might I propose this? I don't think I like the idea of it being a top-down game because I think that what we're really missing here is the idea of creating a video game that is just the worst kind of mission, which is, of course, delivery missions or protection missions.
You have to deliver an adventure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the missions were like, they're like, I need to get to the other side of the room. And you're like, okay, walk over there. And they like walk 8 feet and they're like, there's an enemy, help. And you have to like go clear out like 4 dudes so that they don't hit your hero. Maybe this is a game where the hero does not see you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But you have to protect them. They are going to go and slay the Demon Lord, the Dragon King, Michigan Wazowski, the Demon Lord, Michigan Wazowski, MW. And so, as they go through the game, you, in a third-person action game, have to protect them.
It's a Loop Hero style thing where the main character, that your sidekick, is walking a set path through each zone. And the only way you can find out what path they're going is to just follow them and remember to react. So it's like the moment the character dies, they start that zone over again. So they walk forward, they kill 2 enemies, they go over.
So you're a ghost on Groundhog's Day. You're watching and you're like, oh, if I don't bring the drawbridge down, my hero is going to walk right off into the river. So I have to go in and get the drawbridge ready.
And you have to remember the sequence of things. So it's like,
my hero's going to get shot by 3 arrows. If I can start a big gust of wind, it will make the arrows not hit the hero.
Yes.
The sidekick.
Yes. And you have to like possess things in the environment. So it's like, oh, okay. So like our character is sneaking through this castle right now. You can blow out this candle, and then somebody will walk over and relight it. But in that time that it was off, our hero was able to sneak by.
Okay, yeah, like, I do love this environment puzzle video
yes,
game now.
Yes.
It's just constant environment puzzles. Now, when the hero dies, what resets? Does just the hero reset, or do you reset with them?
I think you reset with the hero as well. So it's like it's this constant trial and error of like, okay, here's the first sequence. I know what I need to do. Okay, here's the second sequence. I don't know what to do because I haven't gotten this far yet. Oh, fuck, he died. Okay, now I know what to do. So you learn when your character dies. So it's like, oh, that person, oh, he died from the arrow. What do I do? What are my abilities right now? What are the things in that room? Oh, I can open a window.
What killed him? Where is he being
gun.
Killed from?
Yes. And you have to follow along, and you're basically his guardian angel, because this hero is incredibly inept, right? And they don't necessarily know how to go about these things. So I don't necessarily think this is going to be a game that has a lot of like evolvement. Like maybe
the game would sort of live and die based on the energy of the two main characters, the ghost and the mascot character.
Oh, you know what'd be really cool? Just like as a fucking, because I just got done playing God of War, but you know what this journey is? What if your sidekick is like taking your ashes somewhere, and that's why you're tied to him? So he's like, this adventure that he's on, that you're guiding him through, is like him taking you to like, you know, some ocean to like to throw your ashes on that ocean or whatever. And I that's why your spirit is tied to him physically or whatever. And then maybe we would have to come up with like, why does time, you know, start over or whatever? Or it could be like Katana
It all makes
Zero
sense
thing,
in the narrative, in the deep lore.
All right, let me give you another game.
Yeah, hit me with something.
All right, this one comes to us from Dr. Peener at Dr_Peener on Twitter. A game in which you are a member of a cult on the night of an important ritual. You forgot that you were supposed to set up the room. You will have 5 hours to get up the decorations, gather ingredients, and prep the ritual before you embarrass yourself in front of others. AJ, this is a party setup game, or like a house decoration game, but for cultists.
No, okay, this rules. Yes, a party decoration game for cultists.
Yes.
This would be a game where like there's a shop or some sort of way to procure items. You bring those items back to the room.
You have a budget for every like ritual, which is like, let's call it a party. So like maybe that's kind of the funny vibe of it, is like all of the setup is like super dark. It has like really gothic music playing while you set up. But the moment everybody shows up, it's just fucking cult rave. It's like the
what
blood
if that's
party
dependent on what sort of items you purchase? So we do this game and like it's sort of a world is your oyster type thing. There's all sorts of different items that you can get, anything from a butcher table to a DJ table. And depending on what you gather and bring back into the room is going to create the energy that the room is. There will be people in this room. What they do depends on what you've placed there.
Can I give you an idea? Because like,
yes,
we've done the concept of like, okay, you're gonna try and figure things out depending on like who's attending the party. We've kind of done that before. I want to pitch you on something different. So this is, you know, like how my brother's getting married, as I think I mentioned at the top of the episode. So like wedding planning and a bunch of other things is just like on my brain. You know, like how you hire specific people to do your wedding planning? What if like cultists or different cults had to hire specific people to plan their rituals? So like a ritual planner. So every level is a different cult who worships different gods, has different aesthetics, different desires, and you get a portfolio at the top of the level, and you need to figure out, okay, what would this cult like? Okay, this is a blood cult.
Let me hit you with this.
Go.
You are a ritual planner, period. You will be contracted sometimes for occultists, sometimes for birthdays, sometimes a wedding. The tools that you have will usually be the same. What you will have to do is use your underground and occult connections to then do birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s.
So what's the goal with that? Is it just like I mean, I guess my question is what is the goal of the game? Are you trying to generate as much income as you can as a successful business? Oh, wait, what if you're a cult trying to cover up your you're a cult planner, but you need to do a couple
this is the day job. Or perhaps the cult business isn't quite what it used to be. Maybe the cultists are like, you know what? Culting's kind of shady.
Yeah,
I
it's
want to
not
go
the
clean,
70s
actually.
anymore.
Trying to summon the Dark Lord through our D&D rituals did not work. Unfortunately, I have all of these cool connections to butchers and like deep house raves and
I love
ironworks maker. I don't know what we would even have used an Iron Maiden for, but I know like 4 blacksmiths that helped build that. I guess I'll use all these contacts to become a ritual planner. Blake, how you've been planning a wedding? How would you get an Iron Maiden involved?
An Iron Maiden. Okay, so that
And you know what?
sounds like
I'll give you a softball.
No, I got one for
no
you.
spikes inside of it.
Okay, no, here, I got one for you. So one of the big things about wedding is you need to have the photography spot. You need to have the area where people go take photos. This is what these cultists, I didn't know if you know this, but there's an Instagram dedicated to cultists. It's called Cultagram. So
Okay,
that's where all the cultists upload their sweet cult party pictures, and that's what every level ends on, is like showing pictures from the cult party that you threw.
Please, the ritual.
The ritual
you are
that you
done
threw.
doing cultist things. The attempt to summon the Dark Lord did not work. You now have a bunch of underground connections that you must make good on.
Oh, okay. Wait, I misunderstood. So you're wanting to do. You're a cult planner trying to go straight.
But again, you have all of these underground connections for cultists.
Oh God, I love the contrast of that. Of like,
here's the thing.
Oh my God,
you know a guy that can get virgins to any party. Was that contact originally going to be used so that you could murder them? Yes, absolutely. But good news is you have somebody that can help fill a room.
How does that translate to gameplay though? Is it just
what
as
the
game
gameplay
goes on,
is
get
that
more
you will have a bunch of contacts within your contact list, and I think that what the game is a little bit of you like looking at your contact, trying to find out what seems right for the venue that you have been given. We'll do this in chapters. I'm imagining something like, I think the best rubric I have is something akin to Phoenix Wright. But rather than you going into a final scene where like you have to use your evidence to support like, oh, you guys want to like, I have this evidence, therefore that answers this thing. It's more like there are points. You will be introduced to a character at the very beginning that says, hey, how's it going? I know you're a ritual planner. The ritual I'm planning for is my daughter's Sweet 16. I need you to help make this as cool as possible. You will use your contacts. You will go through Cultagram and you will find different contacts that you have and you'll say, I know I need music at the Sweet 16. I know I need food at the Sweet 16.
I have these cultist chanters that I know are really good at like throat singing, and that's like, hey, that's the music for the party now.
Exactly. You will have a bunch of different contacts that you can use. You will grab those contacts and they will fill invisible points. There will be an invisible point taker on the back end. So let's say that you do the singing choir. You'll do the butcher. And you'll do, give me one more occult thing that feels like you could spin it into a Sweet 16. I need a good third one.
Okay.
We've got music covered. We've got food covered.
One of the big things that all parties need is a table that everybody can sit at. Every cultists get together, they have the sacrifice table. Guess what? That altar, that's where people are playing beer pong, buddy. That's not Sweet 16. They're playing soda pong, man, on a place where people have been sacrificed.
They're playing definitely soda pong.
Is the delivery of this kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, where they're trying to do their version of something, but they only have ever known how to do it one way, that they still
that is such a good flavor. Yes, it is Nightmare Before Christmas. The occultists have done this all the time like this, but then all of a sudden you put the choir, like you as the player put the choir singers into the Sweet 16 party, and the choir goers are like, hold on, y'all hear about this karaoke shit? It kind of bangs. So we could just go up here and sing whatever we want.
Oh my God. So what is the overall narrative of this? So the
overall narrative is that you are a cultist that is trying to bring as many people that were in deep cultist stuff to more regular, everyday people things.
And in the gameplay loop is designing the party space, making take that portfolio you get at the top of the levels, like gives you an idea of like, okay, what aesthetic are they going for? What are they looking for? And then it's just kind of this puzzle piece thing to see how well you designed it. So it's not necessarily
The question then becomes,
yeah.
how do we handle the investigative and connection based style of the game? Because like I think that like using Phoenix Wright as our anchor, in games like that, you have a murder scene that you're going to go and investigate and grab a little bunch of different little tools. Now you propose this idea of this occultogram. What if this is one of those games where I've seen a game once where like the whole like fiction of it was that you were a character going through the deep web, and they had a bunch of fake deep web assets.
Actually, wait, I remember this. Yeah. I don't remember the name, but I know which thing you're talking about. And it's
what
like
if
you
this
you
was a
uncover
game like that. You are given a social feed, and you can constantly go through fake social feeds, go through different links, find secret links to go into people's deep web, like dark occult websites, and then send an email there to schedule them for the secret plan, or to be the planners and caterers for these parties that you are now going to.
So it's like you're doing background research for surprise party things. But how do
you're doing background research because you know that the wedding needs a photographer, and you're going to go through your occult ritual library to say, who do I think, which of all the photographers that I know from the occult world, who would make the best wedding photographer?
It's the guy with a camera for a head, like from Bendy and the Ink Machine. That kind of. It's that. Yeah. You have people like that.
You'd have like a list of like 3 different photographers that you would find through your social feeds. From there, you would then dig through their websites to find out which one of these 3 photographers feels like they'd fit the wedding theme the best.
You know what'd be so fucking cool too? What if this is like it had this Google Calendar aesthetic? So where there's like actually you need to set up meeting dates with people. So it's like before you actually do any of the designing, you also need to do it's like a schedule management sim where it's like, okay, I need to make sure that I have this party at the end of the month. I need to make sure I need to investigate these couple of leads that I have. And
yes,
then, like,
that is exactly
set up date. Yeah, and then that all builds up into you getting like you hopefully had scheduled all of your meetings, got all of the materials you needed for this big party at the end of the month or the end of the week or tomorrow night or whatever. And that's where you get all of your materials, or it's like Phoenix Wright. You get a bunch of things that don't seem to connect, and then during the court case it all makes sense.
Yes.
So it's like it all comes together at the party.
This brings us to the court case, we make it work now. After the gameplay loop system, Danganronpa has like the court system as well. And so again, we're using this visual novel system. You set up this system of, it's a Google Calendar thing. You've scheduled out everybody to arrive at the venue on that day. The second part of the game, the point where it flips and it becomes, here's where you make it all work. Kachink is a micro sim game. During this micro sim game, you are given a top-down of the restaurant or the venue. You then take all of the people that you've secured and you find out where to put them on the map. And when you put down a unit, say the photographer, or perhaps you put down the caterer will then have like a bunch of little lines and pathing. And so you're like, okay, wherever I put the caterer, the pathing needs to go this direction on their little like butcher bar. So then you have to think about what the flow of the crowd is going to be. So you would now have to make all of the things that you've brought in fit into one place. And different people will have different rules about where they can and can't be. The photographer, because he's an old-timey photographer and he likes to do old-school black and white, like film-grade photography, he needs to be put somewhere dark. So you're going to throw him inside somewhere. Maybe you're even going to have to build something around him so that he can get a nice black room for his photography.
So, and all of this basically builds up into, regardless of like how your character ideally is trying to go on the straight and narrow, but inadvertently every one of these things ends in like a cult summoning. Like all the pieces result in like, cult. Well, that's what I'm thinking is like, I'm just using, Nightmare Before Christmas. Those that don't know, it's a guy whose whole aesthetic, all he knows is he's the god of Halloween, but he falls in love with Christmas and tries to do Santa's job. But inadvertently, he just turns Christmas into his Halloween aesthetic. And it's just scary Halloween. So this is like a person that organized all these cult things trying to do, what if they did a wedding planning? So it's like they basically got these ancient rings.
I think that we could lean a little bit more into the idea of it being like the best case scenario is there's no demon that's summoned. I think that
No,
what you
I
were
think
trying
I think
to avoid is a demon
ironically no, I think it ironically ending in like Cthulhu being summoned is kind of cute in its own
What are you
weird
gonna
way.
do with the? Okay, hold on. Go on about Cthulhu being cute. Are you proposing that what we are doing is using occult rituals to cleanse dark beings? By using the same occult methods that were originally intended to bring
but with
Cthulhu
more
and other
positive
dark
energy.
gods.
we make
Exactly.
we make
If
we make
here's the thing. We were out here trying to summon the Dark Prince. The dark. Yeah, you heard me. The Dark Prince.
So okay,
But we were doing a baby shower. We brought all these occult people over. They wanted to summon we summoned them as a baby. Just a little guy, just a little baby Dark Prince.
I think this game having a cutie cultist aesthetic is where it's at. Like I
We
love
are
that idea.
cleansing dark beings and bringing them to the new world full of positive energies and goodness.
But
he's now the light prince.
How does I know? I think I was looking at it because I think that's a different game, because that's a game about a person still trying to summon cultist things, and it's not like a person inadvertently summoning them. I think it's funnier if like you go in and try and plan a wedding, but regardless of whatever you do, this person has just cult planning so ingrained into them that they just, no matter what they do, they still just make a cult ritual, and then bam, I guess these people were gonna get wedded, but guess what? They just summoned Azathoth, you know.
Does
like,
this
I think there's
work
just a cute
narratively?
funniness.
And by all means, we can throw it out, knowing that the reason why our character is a ritual planner on the up and up using dark connections is because the original inciting incident was them failing to do an occult thing, and then them saying, oh, we'll use the dark connections for normal business.
Yeah, and then I think what's kind of I love when culty dark shit plays to the cute aesthetic, where it's like, haha, cult funny. Like, there's this game coming out that looks fucking adorable. It's called Cult of the Lamb. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for that. You are a lamb that is building their own cult of other sheep, and you will basically, it's like a top down, like you have a sword and you can summon shit, but it's also like a Don't Starve style, like you can build your own town, your own like clique of people in your sect. It's really wild, but it's adorable looking. It's fucking cute as shit. And I'm wondering if you can do a similar thing where it's like you have, hey, there's a sacrifice table that still has blood, spatter on it, but people are sitting there playing Uno on it. You know, like there's just that weird cutesiness to it. Or just I don't know. Sometimes I say things where I'm like,
I love
it makes
the
sense
idea
to
of
me.
like a fortune teller's table being used for like a game table. That rips.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and then, but regardless of and each level, what I'm thinking is the level ends like your grade screen where it like tallies up all of your points. In the background of that, you just see like, oh, Cthulhu's in the background. He just cracked the ritual table that people were playing Uno on, and now he's just out and his tendrils are like just flailing. But he's drawn in such a cute way that it's like, oh, hey, that's a cute cult little game. I like that. It's adorable. Okay. I'm not picturing this as like Darkest Dungeon. I'm picturing this as
now. I just want to clarify whether or not Cthulhu being summoned at the wedding has any amount of narrative weight to our story.
No, I think I think the narrative is just. I don't know if this game has like some overarching narrative. It
has to, because I think that the backbones that we've built of it being a puzzle game where you were trying to find the right people for a job and then setting them up in the right room.
That's
because
all about
it is such a forward-moving story, it needs to have a narrative.
So maybe I wonder if the overarching narrative then is your character inadvertently summoning all of these monsters while trying to just do regular things. There's going to be investigators coming after you. There's going to be police officers coming after you. There's going to be an investigation into why these instances are happening. So
are
it's
bad
like
things happening at our cool rituals?
I think at the end of them, yeah.
Damn.
I mean, if fucking monsters are getting summoned, like that's the drama, that's the juice,
Or is that the love of it? Or is that the glory of it, baby?
Well, I mean, if you're a cultist trying to cultivate your own cult, Wow, that was a lot of cult, baby.
No, we claimed it. It's the Light Prince.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of this person. I don't know. There's just an aesthetic.
Here's my new problem: is if we introduce the idea of the police getting involved in doing our investigations, how do we get them off our tail within our gameplay loop? Because currently our gameplay loop is digging through internet and social media feeds as gameplay loop A to bring us to gameplay loop B, which is the micro city manager where you need to have all of your people in the correct location so that the ritual can go on nicely.
I don't think we had a gameplay. I don't think we had a mechanic to that. I think that's just a narrative that unfolds as you go. Yeah, because just like with every party that you plan, the police and investigators. Like I don't know if you've played any Call of Cthulhu, but the player characters are called investigators. So imagine like a group of Call of Cthulhu investigators are slowly trailing through all of the parties that you've planned. So it's like last week you did a bar mitzvah. And you find out the following week that 4 investigators showed up to that location to see the wormhole that Azathoth came through. And it's like the remnants of it. Or like maybe you find out people are cleaning up after your messes. Like these investigators are like, they come to the locations that you went to and banned the monsters that you summoned. You know, I'm just trying to think.
I can't believe they banned Baba Yaga. Fuck no.
Baba Yaga's not a Cthulhu monster, but... I mean, she kind of is.
Is Beelzebub anything? I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about like eldritch beings and monsters.
I mean, it's a lot of them have dumb, stupid names.
I assume that you could just put like the word dark anything and just be like, oh, the Dark Deva, the Shadow Prince,
the Dark Moon. You know, yeah, you're right. Okay. I think that's
the spooky Pumpkin King, as opposed to the good Pumpkin King we all know.
Okay, I think that's our nug. And I want to do 2 things. I want to
come
up with the name.
We're 56 minutes in.
And I want to talk about what we have a new Patreon modifier, and it's collectibles. And I want to talk about both of those. Might I pitch you, while we're talking about this game, because I think this is our nug, because I really love it, and I think it's really unique. Might I pitch you Death of the Party? Instead of Life of the Party, it's Death of the Party.
Death of the Party's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll stick with that one for right now.
I like that.
And that's... Okay, all right, fuck it. It's called Death of the Party. There you go. So now let's talk about some of our Patreon modifiers.
Which, of course, as you mentioned this week, is collectibles.
Yes. Okay, this one comes to us from Joe, they, them. Various electronics, which you then have to find the equipment so they can play Doom. I love this idea because everybody because like I know I've gone to like a party and then I go over to where people are playing video games, and I love the idea of somebody playing a game about killing demons at a fucking cult get together. Like, there's something about that that's just so fucking ironic to me that I love. So the way I want to integrate this into the game, which I think would be kind of fun, is each mission that you get, I'm wondering if, like, in the party location, there are hidden objects that you can find that are pieces that you can collect to build that resource. So now you find out, like, okay, the first 5 levels of the game, there's you find a CPU in one, you find a monitor in the other, you find a keyboard in another, and then the 5th level you find a copy of Doom for like like a classic copy of Doom, like 1990s
now,
CD.
Would this be an in-game version of Doom that you were able to play?
Oh my god, that'd be so fun! Like you actually get to play the original
the idea
Doom.
That part of the game you were going to be sort of doing online research, and we haven't explored really what that room that you're doing this research in. Is it an actual little room akin to how in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 you could pry yourself out of the main menu chair and walk over to a little computer and play some computer games?
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
Maybe in this game, when you're in the research phase on the internet, you're in a room. You're in a fully functioning room. And the collectibles would be different ways that you can play Doom.
But you know what? It's not Doom. It's just like it's a Doom clone, and we call it Mood. So it's just so I'm wondering if you could do, like, instead of It's the opposite of Doom. So it's like instead of like hunting demons and shit, you're like a demon hunting angels. So it's like
and it's just
an
like a
FPS
shitty little mini game, but every time you get a new way to play it, you are given a new air quotes level in mood.
Oh, that'd be so fucking cool. So like if you find that collectible in the game or like
you
that
get a
piece
fun
of
new
electronic
little mini game on the side that you can
you get
go
a new
play.
level to play.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love this. You know why I love this so much is because I'm playing Catherine. I was playing Catherine a little while ago. I haven't touched it in a little bit, but while you're at the bar, you can actually go over to an arcade machine, which is like an 8-bit version of the Catherine game, where you're playing like the knight that's climbing up the tower for Rapunzel's hair, and it's just an 8-bit copy of what the actual Catherine gameplay is. So this kind of gives me that same vibe where it's like it's a game to do between games or between levels.
You mentioned that this
fun.
would be like a collectathon thing. Would these be collectibles that you're getting during the city planner part, or I'm sorry, the room planning part?
Yes, every room has like a hidden compartment. Like you have to open up a closet and you find on the like the area above the coats where you can like put shoes and stuff. There's like a little there's a CPU piece there, or like maybe it's they said various electronics, so I would just say it's computer upgrades.
It's a top-down pixel hunter. If you click the right spot, they'll be like, oh, there's something I can use. You get a little text ball, and then it'll go to your room. I have another one for you.
Oh, hell yeah, do it.
This comes from Aiden, and I will be really quick about this one. This is Webkins. And perhaps during the research part of the game, when you're on the websites, going through the deep webs and everything, you'll be able to find secret hyperlinks. And if you click on those, you'll be able to get a different webkin. And the webkins are just going to be little decorative things. Maybe they show up on your character's table, and they just keep on piling and piling and piling and piling up.
Okay, is there a way that we can introduce that to gameplay-wise? Is that...
I think that in the gameplay, when you're in the research phase where your character is scrolling through social medias and clicking on different links, they will be hidden hyperlinks that you'll be able to find. Maybe there'll be like little secret hidden puzzles of like you'll scroll, like if you click on the whole browser tab, the browser will be like, in the middle of the browser name for the website page that you're on, it'll have a little math problem. So if you do that little math problem and then hit enter in the bar, then it will take you to a Webkins link, and then you'll get a little thing on screen that just says, "Congrats, you got a Webkins." And then if you move the camera, like if you say back out, the camera will back out from a full screen computer setup, and then you'll see the whole room. This is then when you'd be able to go play Doom. But instead, when you zoom back out, you have a little webkin on your table.
You know, it'd be kind of fun. Like, I wonder if you can do a thing where the hyperlinks that you find take you to, like, maybe this is where we can introduce kind of the lore, where it's like a hyperlink is like, oh, you get it takes you to like a wiki page on Cthulhu, or it takes you to a wiki page on what was the name of the monster you were saying? Blah 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 blah.
The Dark Prince Guga.
And that's where we introduce like lore pages. So it's like you have to, while you're doing your research for the party, there will be hyperlinks hidden, and maybe they're not even highlighted like hyperlinks are. It's like you need to find out, oh, what are like some of the words, or like there's word like you have to click on, like you see that this word is used X amount of times or something, and then you have to like find out. And maybe it's not just lore. Maybe you get little like backgrounds on like certain cult rituals, or like why what you're doing is gonna work the way it is, and maybe they're fucking hints towards like how to decorate the next level. Or just like, hey,
there'll be hints as to where you need to put characters, and like the way that you would get to the correct web page is like you'll scroll down to like the bottom of some dude's web page or his fucking card, and on the bottom of the card it just says "search for darkness" 8 times, and you're like, what is this dude talking about? And then if you go to like the homepage Google and then just Google darkness 7 times in a row, then it takes you to his homepage.
Actually, dude, I got you. I got you one fucking better. So you are given this block of text, and intermittently it says darkness at random points. Like even in times it doesn't make sense. If you click on each time it uses darkness, all of those words light up, and then they connect to form a pentagram.
Yes.
Like right there on the fucking block of text, and then it takes you to wherever.
And then your character's like, cool, I got to the butcher's page. Anyway, this is the guy I was thinking about to have to come do the catering for the bar mitzvah.
All right, I love it.
Death of the party.
Death of the party. Fuck yeah. Dude, thank you to all of our Patreon modifier submitters. We definitely appreciate it. Are we ready for patch notes?
I'm ready to go to patch notes.
Fuck yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. Blake and I actually have a really quick one today because we know that there was a big fucking oopsie-poopsie in the internet recently, and we figured the Venn diagram of our listenership and people affected by this is pretty circular. Twitch just had a huge hack, like a really big, deep hack that exposed a bunch of prices that people got. It also exposed a bunch of different passwords and things like that. So with this big security leak, I definitely recommend that if you're listening and you have a Twitch account, go look up what that Twitch hack was exactly. And also go ahead and make sure that you've swapped your passwords on Twitch.
Yeah. We just wanted to share that with you guys real quick. And we just want to say thank you for listening. And we're happy to be back.
With that being said, our intro and outro is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I've been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.